Okay, so to follow up on the question regarding Kwanzaa, can we keep our culture as Muslims or do we have to change it?
You mean like black people? When we become Muslims, do we have to
Yes.
keep? Well, that's a good one. I think that the first part of that is making the distinction as to what is and what is not black culture. I would argue that a part of black culture or African American culture has been highly manipulated. It's been used as a tool against us. And then at the same time, there are elements of black culture that are just, they're legitimately our culture. So when people say black culture today, most of the time they're thinking about, Tyler Perry movies as a type, the behavior of the people in those, those stereotypes, stereotypical behavior that we see in his movies. They're thinking about rap, not Most Def in MC Righteousness. I'm talking about rap, like Lil Durk and those guys. So they're thinking about these elements and trends that come in and out that influence our behavior. Superfly from all of these different things, and I think that the Islam, as a general rule, al-Islam, the Quran and the prophetic tradition, do not get rid of anything in the culture of a people that is clean and decent. Anything, as the prophet did with the Arabs, they had ways about them in their respective culture that was clearly, it was heathenism, it was savage, it was anti-human, and those things al-Islam gets rid of. So, for example, promiscuity is highly promoted in black culture. You can't name. It's very hard to name a popular show, especially in the late '90s, like after the Cosby era, like Martin, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Living Single. All of these sort of cultural markers that were very influential in Black America. They were all fornicating with one another. The music, R. Kelly. I don't see nothing wrong with bump and grind, with a little bump and grind. Um, do you mind if I stroke you up? This is like common entertainment for us. So all of that is haram because it's promoting haram, or you know what I'm saying? And then of course, like I said, going back to the rap culture, again, it's obviously not conscious rap. Like one of the brothers that made a comment on the video, he had a song about skateboarding. The other video I did about rap, that was a clean song. He was talking about kick push skating, and I had his album. He had a song about like told from the perspective of a child of a single mother, a son, and he's kind of protesting to the father, and then the mother. Then he goes from her perspective, speaking to the father on behalf of the son. Obviously, that music is not haram, but bang bang skeet skeet is haram. You see what I'm saying? So, but that's not the whole of black culture, though, and that's what I want to make clear. That's not the whole of black culture. In our African American Muslim experience, the bean pie. I mean, it's a cultural marker. It's kind of a form of unity too, because you'll be at a Salafi masjid, and if there's a lot of black people, they'll have a bean. I've been in one. They had a bean pie for sale, and the person is named. They're in a Salafi masjid, but their name is something something Shabazz. So like no one else has that name on earth. So somewhere along the line it came from the nation, maybe the grandfather or something like that. And then when it comes to, I would say, African American art, African American dress, we have a poetry tradition. We have an abstract art tradition. We have a general artist tradition. We have a tradition of music too. The blues music, jazz music, not just rap, blues, jazz, gospel. Obviously, we're not going to be praising Jesus, but I'm just speaking about what the African American soul has produced. Also a mode of dress. Now, this is where it gets a little sticky. I don't agree with streetwear personally. I would wear streetwear. Streetwear is really sportswear, to be honest. So I may wear sportswear when I work out, or streetwear when I'm really not doing anything serious. I would like to see African Americans edify our dress. But you can't, like I said in the previous video, you can't really say it's haram. But I do think that it is associated, like skinny jeans, Jordans, you know what I mean? And a gold chain. It's associated with a culture that's haram. So the prophet, prayers and peace be upon him, he forbade the men from dragging their fabric of their garments on the ground because that was a show off thing. That was a sign of wealth and opulence. And they were doing it to show out. Not was it just a sign, it was a show off sign. And we that's discouraged in Islam. Also, our language, because culture is everything. So even our language, you know, we don't say this anymore, but there was a time when we addressed each other as dog. You know, you go to places like Baltimore, what's up, dummy? They call each other dummies. Bro is very popular now. You know, what's up, bro? And the boy will be calling the girl a bro. And the girl will be calling another girl a bro. Bro was short for brother. When we were young, only white people said bro. Like, what's up, bro? Now the brothers do it. So that's the part about manipulation. Culture can be manipulated because it's not like culture was originally something that formed out of people's need to adapt and survive in a particular region of the earth. Today, culture is something that we can get on the screen and it's fed to us. It's not always naturally coming out of us. A lot of African American culture is naturally coming out of us, like the blues music. But at the same time, even that will be co-opted by other forces and they'll repackage it. So as one old timer said, he said, you know, our parents, it was the whites who put Is You Is or Is You Ain't My Baby, a blues tune on the radio, the Hoochie Coochie Man. They put that on the radio. He said, but our parents in our homes, they were trying to get us to not talk like that. So here they popular, just like gangster rap. You see what I'm saying? Our parents didn't raise us to say F the police. That was something that was taken. It was a legitimate expression from angry black men, but it was co-opted and used by people who don't care about our life and in our future. They care about making a profit at our expense. So that's the greater message that I would say about black culture and Islam. And I'll conclude on this point. Think of culture like the land, think of your soul like the soil of the ground. And think of what you produce as a people culturally as the growth that comes out of the earth. Adam was created to till the soil. All of us are created to manage our own soul and make use of the resources of our own soul. So even if you go someplace like Saudi, Nigeria too, very rich in oil, you can dig into the earth and not only get like crops, you can dig into the earth and get something like oil that's of so much benefit that can bring wealth and it can bring progress for your society. Well, your soul is the same way. Our soul is our most precious resource. But the challenge that we have had, and it's not our fault. I would not say it's our fault as African American people. We have been subjected to a condition where we are not the custodians of our own soul. So even the beneficial resources of our soul, it has been plowed, it has been harvested, and it has been made use of by others. So historically, the record industry used us. The political scene used us. So even in religion, they use us. They use us and they harvest the treasures of our own soul. So we can look and see how American culture in its music, in its dress, in just its overall feel is clearly the result of what we produced out of ourselves. And there's some arguments that really African Americans are really the only authentic cultural producers. Like American culture, if you trace it back, even like country music legitimately comes from us. This can be studied. But we don't harvest any of the resources. We don't get any of the benefit from it. We don't get anything from it. Even the civil rights legislation. We have all types of immigrant groups coming from all over the world. And they have organizations in place that take advantage of things that have been made available to non-whites because of the civil rights struggles and the civil rights movement. And we're still, in our minds at least, and in a lot of ways in reality, we're on the outs. And I think it has everything to do with the fact that our leadership has not done enough to situate us to be an authority over our own souls. We don't even know our own soul. We don't even know our own value. I was watching an interview relatively recently where a sister, I think she was Haitian, she said black Americans or black people don't have a culture. How is that true? When everywhere you go, if you go to Europe, if you go to Africa, if you go to Haiti, if you go to white America, they are nothing but traces of what we've produced. That's a fact. That's an actual fact. I mean, like, no exaggeration added. So a person like that can get away with it because we are viewed as a people of style, not of culture. That's what she's really saying. In other words, we give these things away, but they're trends and they're styles. But culture carries more of an internal, a depth to it. In other words, there's an underlying philosophy. There's an underlying worldview giving birth to all of these forms of external expression. I do believe that we have to do a better job at that. And I do believe that that's al-Islam. What I find in the religion of Islam that's so potent is that al-Islam gives us the perception and the language to discover or locate philosophically the depth and nuance of the African American experience that we have seen expressed in these forms of expression. So we legitimately could come to develop a philosophical system or a theology or a theory of oppression that blues music just gives voice to in musical form. We could give an academic expression of it or an intellectual expression of it. You see what I'm saying? We could from the Quran and the prophetic tradition articulate an understanding of divine justice and a faith in divine justice that the civil rights movement sought to realize. So I do think that there's still more growth to be done with black culture. But the short answer is we can keep being who we are. Who we are is beautiful. And that's not in any real, that's not any, what do you call it, unreal cliche sense. Lastly, I know I'm taking long with this, but this is important. God has formed us. We are a people formed by God. Allah, highly glorified is He. And all of the things that we have undergone, Allah has permitted. And it's very rare that He permits something like this, but He has permitted it. And the result or the reason for it is that our conditions have been brought about to produce a very special group of people on this earth. And that's what our work is today, to establish that.